Ahoy and welcome to the Four Rings Inn as we embark on our Gilded Voyage.
My name is John, and I will be the GM for three of my best friends, my amazing wife Tori, my spectacular friend Aubrey, and her incredible husband Jake. I will also at this time introduce our potential guest stars, our cats Nico and Adora, and your cats Atlas and Apollo. We have no control when they appear, and I have no control when they leave. This campaign will be using D&D 5th edition rules, and it's going to take place in a homebrew location called the Stonefall Scatter. The world we're playing in is based on Wizards of the Coast's Sword Coast, with many minor and a few major changes to people, locations, major world events, timelines, and things like that. So if you're familiar with the Sword Coast, you'll know generally what's going on, but you'll also recognize that I've moved some big things around. Although you will quickly see that none of us are professional voice actors, streamers, or D&D players, I can promise you with the utmost certainty that my friends are excellent storytellers and even funnier people. So, without further ado, enjoy the show. So you've come to hear one of Captain John's famous tales. Well, I guess since ye traveled this far, ye deserve a story at the least. Gather around me, hearties, for I only tell her once. This be the tale of the greatest, most daring swashbucklers to sail the seas, the legend of the Gilded Voyage. The year was, it must have been 1486, and the spring gulls just began to fly north. The mighty kingdoms of the Sword Coast had settled their petty squabbles and turned their attention to farther horizons. Across the trackless sea and beyond stormy waves lies the mysterious continent of Thay. Rumors of exotic races, undiscovered creatures, and lost arcana are kept hushed by the lords of the land, the Council of Red Wizards. These tall, slender humans are covered in black tribal tattoos and are both exceptional traders and notorious slavers. Despite the Thayan's tyrannical rule, the kingdoms of the Sword Coast wished to avoid yet another century of war, and greatly desired to exchange knowledge and riches with the Red Wizards. And so the sails of ships were filled with eastbound winds, and along the way outposts, coves, and coastal towns flourished on the islands between these nations. Off the southeast coast of Thay, there are a cluster of islands called the Stonefall Scatter, and it is here that our story takes place. But it is not about the disciplined water-deep navy, nor the bustling Thayan slave ships. Our story is about freedom, about people who wanted to love whomever they love, drink any day of the week, and sail wherever the wind would take them. They call themselves sea lovers and free spirits, but the rest of the world calls them pirates. We begin our tale of adventure and glory, as any good pirate story, with a ship. 6 years prior, amidst the Moonshine Isles, a young war hero of the Goblin Wars commissioned a vessel. Although this brigantine was fashioned by the best shipbuilders the coast had ever seen, what truly sets this ship apart was that it was made for the sole purpose of piracy. It is a two-masted brigantine with a sturdy main deck that is low to the water, making it faster and more maneuverable than other larger ships, which sacrifice speed to be a safe distance above the waves. The entire cargo hold is lined with arcane depictions of eyes, hourglasses, and runes of divination to conceal its ill-gotten goods from prying eyes. This ship, in order to insult the heir of the Neverwinter Crown, was christened the Depressed Guppy. Now, the Guppy was once an infamous brigantine along the shores of the Sword Coast, the echoes of her cannon striking fear into coastal towns for years. Amongst her peers, the Guppy was known to pass up easier prey for more dangerous and valuable targets. The Guppy was notorious for ransacking settlements, holding forts for ransom, and sinking ships others would have captured or avoided confrontation altogether. But as the winter of 1486 settled in, the Guppy seemed to disappear without a trace. Some claim its legendary Captain Gorehand was killed gloriously in battle, and the crew hung shortly after. Others say she sank altogether. A few fishermen even claimed to have seen her in port, commanded by a new captain. These were quickly discarded, since what captain of the dreaded Guppy would pay docking taxes, hire soft and inexperienced sailors, and fail to purchase even a drop of rum while in port? The truth was that the fearsome Captain Gorehand had in fact been killed in battle those many months ago, but its crew sailed on. Command had been assumed by the now Captain Wallywig and his brother-in-law, First Mate Eugene. In the time after Gorehand's death, the crew of the Guppy had hired only 4 new hands, recovered only a single treasure chest, and survived on waterlogged supplies scavenged off of the scraps of shipwrecks. Now, after mysterious orders from the captain, the crew has found themselves sailing across the trackless sea, plodding their way through uncharted waters. The Guppy was welcomed into the Stonefall Scatter by 3 small ships of the Barnacle Buccaneers. Despite the cowardice of their captain, the crew of the Guppy drove off 2 of the vessels and placed a 3rd under new management. While the ships lie anchored off the shore of unfamiliar land, their hunger for adventure and mischief only grew. Suddenly, a shout shatters the tranquility with a single word and a vow of violence. Mutiny! Immediately, steel is drawn from sheaths, flintlocks are drawn, and battle ensues. Swords clash, pistols crack, and across the starboard, cannon fires, and smoke erupts across the deck of the ship. On the center of the chaotic deck of the Guppy, surrounded in smoke, I introduce our first swashbuckler, and the most swashbuckler at that. Standing in the center of the chaos and carnage of the deck is a dwarf and a swashbuckler. And Jake, can you describe our Kildak for us?
Absolutely. So Kildak is a 76-year-old dwarf, coming in around 4 feet tall. He has his right arm well intact, holding a sword, and his left arm significantly less intact, severed just above the elbow. Kildak has a big, long, flowing beard, red as the sun is when it sets, and a mane to match. He has a patch over his left eye, similar accident as what took the arm. We carry a book constantly on our belt.
Wonderful. So, yes, that is our swashbuckler Kildak. As we begin our adventure, Kildak, you are standing on the deck of the ship. You see around you, there are pirates clashing with swords, smoke completely covering the deck. To your left, you see there is a 7, almost 8-foot man, big arms. And when I say arms, I'm not talking about 2, 4 arms protruding from his muscular body. Black hair, thick beard, thick unibrow, and looks absolutely shocked. Wide-eyed, is doing his best to defend himself against a second pirate, a dark-skinned woman, clearly wielding 2 swords, clashing at him, who he's defending himself only with a plank of wood. And you see this is your crewmates, Bug-Eye Bill, being the large, red-skinned, 4-armed man, and Patchy Polly, the one-eyed, hot-headed crewmate. To your left and right, there are pirates again clashing, fighting, some firing their pistols into the air or at each other. And through the smoke, I need you to make a perception check for me. Our first roll of the game. Make it good.
With the 2?
A 2.
Doesn't even have the gusto of a 1.
With a 2, you are caught up in all this commotion, and from the direction of the mast, you know the ship very well. You've been here for half a decade at least. You hear the crack of pistols, and you hear shouting of where you last spotted Captain Wallywig. You can't see him at this point, but you can hear his pistol cracking, and you can hear his voice shouting from atop where like the helm sits. What is Kildak's first action?
Kildak is he hears that he's gonna run up to the quarterdeck here. I'll run up here just to try and get a better eye. I don't want to run in there, sword swinging without first ascertaining what might be occurring.
Perfect. So as you begin to break into a sprint, you begin to move through the smoke, and despite all these pirates clashing with each other, some of them make swings at you, but through the smoke, you expertly weave through. And it's hard for them to see you, and it's hard for you to see them. And as you move through it, adrenaline pumping through your veins, you drive up towards the main deck. Your hearing starts to go quiet. You hear the world start to almost go quiet around you. You close your eyes for a second to focus yourself. And as you open your eyes, you see that the room around you is dark. The air is moldy. And though your adrenaline is still pumping, you know exactly where you are. Rather, you know exactly when you are. And it plays out exactly like it did all those years ago, and exactly like your nightmares do every time they come up. Jessael is standing in front of you. She moves forward towards the gaunt man, but the skeleton strikes at her arm. She holds it up, and you watch the skin peel and burn away, muscle, tendon, only leaving the skeletal bone left, and then it tumbles to the ground. She doesn't even have time to scream as she turns back, makes eye contact with you, and you watch a second skeleton stab a sword through her chest. You watch her face, her eyes turn into hollow sockets where only the skull remains, and the skeleton collapses to the ground. Wayland and Aled step between you and the man, level their shields, raise their swords. The man cackles. Do you not know who I am? I am the Zulker of Necromancy, commander of the Legion of Bone, regent of Thay, servant of Merkel. I am Zaz-Tam. His eyes turn black as the bones of your allies swirl and click together and form this massive, dire tiger, bones protruding where there even would be skin as it slinks towards your friends. He looks directly at you, those black eyes boring holes in your head, and says, "Go! Flee from this place. Weep at the feet of your masters and tell them the fate that awaits them, lest they obey the Zulkers of Thay." What does Kildak do?
Kildak cannot leave his comrades. He must stand here. We must try our best to fight.
Cool. So you, Wayland and Aled are currently standing about 20 feet between this man, Zaz-Tam, and this giant skeletal tiger. You have a full turn in combat if you want to take any actions of prep, or to make an attack on him.
I mean, he has this tiger.
Yeah, you could take up defensive positions as well if you would rather be defensive, or if you want to be offensive, you can make a jump for him.
Yeah, I mean, we have to assume that this whatever kind of magic was in those skeletons that turned Jessel like that. We have to take up defensive positions, pull the shields. We have to outlive his magic.
Cool, sweet. So the three of you take out like a shield wall, using your actions to protect each other, to take like dodge actions and also like protection actions. Cool. As you step up with Waylon and Aelid, Zolgertam snarls, "You will pay for your rakish audacity," and sticks his hand up to you. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
That's a 19.
That is incredibly close. You see he reaches out and you tense your muscles. You feel like your bones stiffening. You feel your muscles hardening, and you get, despite this incredibly powerful spell, you get one full step towards Zolgertam before your body freezes in place and he has cast Hold Person on you. You see the tiger takes 2 steps forward and then leaps over the shield of Elliot, and he screams as the tiger begins to like claw over his shield. Parts of him start to turn to bone. He collapses to the ground. The tiger just starts to maul him on the ground. I need you to make a saving throw for me.
Wisdom again?
Yeah, wisdom saving throw. It comes back to your turn.
Okay.
You need to make a saving throw to resist it.
Surprisingly, a 19 again.
These are, again, you get another full one step towards Zolgertam, but his whole person stays strong. You see Tom begins to walk towards you, unsheaths a knife that is covered in unnatural wisps of inky smoke. The silver knife comes up so he is face to face with you, and places the knife on your head and cuts down from like above your eyebrow, just down the left side of your face, your eye disintegrating in your head. He looks at you as he does this, as you're like stepping forward, and goes, "You are a fascinating specimen." And as he does this, your other eye looks just past him long enough to see the tiger dash behind him, grab Waylon by the ankle, and wrestle him to the ground. And he is just beating as hard as he can on this tiger. This thing, step by step, claw to the chest, pulls him deeper, claw to the face, pulls him, and just pulling him deeper into this dark chamber. I need you to make another saving throw.
13 this time.
Okay. You are able to get your shield just up to like try to stop his knife when your arm freezes, and he looks down at the arm as it's moving, your left arm, and he takes the knife and goes, "You will make a perfect addition to my experiments," and cuts right above the elbow, and your left forearm, just like Jessael's, turns to bone and crumbles to the ground. As the tiger, you hear the screams of Waylon disappear and fade echoes into this chamber. And I need you to make another saving throw.
9. This is getting progressively worse.
This time you are fully locked up. You cannot move. You're also in excruciating pain. And you see out of what's left of your left arm, Zaz just taps the tip. Zaz-Tam taps the tip of what's left and like wisp it out, and a stream of blood sails through the air magically. And he's like does a little swift motion and pours the blood into a small vial, which he puts into his robe. And then he turns his back on you. I need to make a saving throw.
8. It's like a countdown.
As he begins to walk to the back of this chamber, the tiger comes up to you, despite being fully skeletal, growls at your like. How tall are you again? 4 something?
Yeah, about 5 foot.
Okay, so it is like a foot lower than you. snarls at you, and then moves past the fallow Tam, and goes up onto like a raised pedestal. Zaztam looks back at you while walking onto the pedestal and says, "You could have lived, or you could have died with your friends, but you chose to be crippled and run. You cannot hide. You have been marked. You belong to me. And when the time comes, I will claim what is mine." Then with a flash of light, him and the tiger are gone. As this happens, the spell breaks. You turn and begin to run through the blur of ruins and the dungeons, scramble up the stairs and through the stone entrance of the keep. As you crash the door into the sunny field, you finally hear yourself and you are screaming. And as your eyes focus in the light, you are not in the field of Flan, but instead on the deck of the ship. You have currently leapt off the banister and are like sailing towards Captain Wallywig, who has a sword and a pistol, terrified, pointed at you.
I'm gonna run up to him, and I'm gonna try and kind of get the sword kind of to his neck. And if I can successfully do that, I got a couple questions for him.
Okay, cool. So you swing your sword, make an attack roll. If you succeed, you won't roll damage, but it will be a threat nonetheless.
It's a 16 to hit.
That will definitely hit.
Okay,
Cool.
So I got.
So you, with a single motion, is it a rapier or a cutlass? I don't remember what you have.
My dagger, actually.
Your dagger, okay. Your dagger comes out and is right to his throat. And he like stiffens his arms back. He's got a pistol in one hand and his rapier in the other. What do you want to say to him?
I know you've been holding out from us. We've all been watching you. It's time you told us where you keep your stuff.
Keep my stuff? I'm on the same boat as you. I don't know. We share everything. I don't know what you're talking about.
We've shared nothing. You have. Why are we even here? You haven't shared information. You haven't shared money. There's been no sharing. No sharing. Sharing is care, and you clearly don't care.
We share a boat. Is that not enough for you? It's a whole boat.
You barely share this boat. You got the nice fancy quarters. You barely ever come out of there. You and Eugene in there all day doing who knows what.
You don't know anything about my quarters.
You're right, because you don't share.
Oh, you got me there. We move from Kildak holding his dagger to Wallywig's throat, his hands in the air, up higher on the boat, to the crow's nest. Not just the crow's nest, the highest crow's nest. Looking down upon the scene is our second daring swashbuckler. Tori, can you describe our lovely Wikipedia?
Wikipedia is a female halfling just barely over 3 feet. She appears to have these dark bags under her eyes and freckles splashed across her pale face. Her hair is cut in like a bob. It's mostly black coming down, but she has like these orangey red hues near the ends. She's just wearing a very basic tan blouse and brown trousers, but resting upon her shoulders is this luxurious blue trench coat with these golden details up and down it. The coat is far too large for her to actually wear for her short stature, so she just kind of wears it like a cape. And that's Wikipedia.
Lovely. So our lovely Wikipedia is standing atop the crow's nest, looking down on the chaos below. You can see smoke covers the deck, making it difficult to see, but you do see Kildak rush up to the helmsman, the deck of the helm, and points a sword to Wallywig's throat, who you would have seen moments ago is just blindly firing his pistol into the chaos of the main deck.
Oh, this poor man.
Now at the mercy of Kildak. What does Wikipedia do?
I have no idea what's going on or why everyone's fighting each other, so I'm just gonna hop down and follow after Kildak and see what's going on, because I don't understand.
Cool. You grab one of the ropes that are used to hoist the sails and begin to slide down the main mast. And as you go, you pass through a layer of smoke. And as the smoke obscures your vision, the distinct smell of gunpowder sends you back into a memory. But not gunpowder, it's fireworks. That's what that smells like. Fireworks being launched into the night sky. Then the rest of the memory begins to come. Various meats being barbecued over an open fire. The communal cheese pot being stirred. You find yourself back in Little Aramore as your aunts, your uncles, and your siblings and cousins cheer as the village unveils the grand reopening of the Corn Castle, the village's pride and joy. Going in this memory, as you are now on solid footing, what does Wikipedia look like?
In this scene, her face is going to be much pinker than it was on the ship. Her hair is all red, and it's very long past her shoulders and down her waist. Her expression is very irritated and very cold, and she's just kind of wearing a long white canvas gown. She's unhappy to be here.
As you unhappily approach the halfling festivities, you notice across the massive salad bar, Uncle Aspen sees you and starts to beckon you towards him.
Fine, I'll mosey over.
As you're moseying over, the teenage cousins Nefer and Neely push past you. Each of them are carrying a sparkler and chasing each other with these bright sparklers. One of them kind of stings as they run by you, and they're just ripping through the mass of children that are all playing town ball or the many sports that are being playing at this event. You finally get up to Uncle Aspen, and he is chowing down on at first what looked like a salad, but actually he just has a meat salad. He just got a bunch of meats from the barbecue and is just eating these meats in a bowl. He looks at you, beaming smile, and goes, "Oh, hi-ho there, Wikipedia. Isn't it amazing? It's just like the first one." And motions towards the corn castle.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say.
Wikipedia, don't it just make you feel warm and fuzzy inside?
Corn smells like mold. It's damp. Everything's damp.
Wikipedia, look on the bright side. Now that it's done, we can go back to everything being normal again. No more big projects, nothing on the horizon. Just run-of-the-mill work. Every day. Ooh, I don't know if it gets much better than that. What do you say?
Doesn't that get just boring every day? Just the same thing, the same crops, the same food, be the same morning routine every day. That makes you happy? Truly?
Wikipedia, what's more exciting than corn? And he motions towards the building that has been constructed out of corn. As he does, from around the side of the corn castle, you see little Spring Weatherby comes ripping around the corner, who is merely a toddler, easily under 2 years, just within running age. Your sister shouts at her daughter, "Hey, what do you have there? A knife! No!" And then begins to run after her daughter. Uncle Aspen looks at you and goes, "Whoa, gotta go catch them rascals." And then puts his meat salad down and begins to run after Spring.
And you notice that wall farther away from me?
You notice that you look around real quick. Nobody's looking at you. Your parents are enjoying the festivities. Your siblings are enjoying. You have a chance to slip away if you would like.
As I do, I will slowly take a few steps backwards and then realize I don't care if anyone notices if I leave and just flat out walk away.
You walk away from the communal cheese pot and the grand reopening of the corn palace. As the noise begins to fade in the distance, the fireworks begin to cast shadows as they explode. Where does Wikipedia go?
Usually on late nights, Wikipeedia's probably found just kind of walking around just the edge of the forest that kind of frames our town, and she's probably going to go on one of those regular routine nightly walks, as they seem to clear her head. They're quiet, they're peaceful, it's away from everyone else.
Cool. So the sun has well set at this point. The only thing that's really been lighting up the sky is the moon. It's a full moon tonight, and the fireworks that have been popping in the air. You begin to walk just on the edge of the snake forest, looking at the beehives of the Weatherby farm. Make a perception check.
The dice was sitting on that 20 and then rolled to be a 9.
Okay. Fortunately, you are very familiar with this walk. And you notice that you get to a point and there's a trail leading into the woods. And that's fine. There's a couple trails leading to the woods. But you know that this one wasn't there before. And again, you would have known. You walked here many times. You know where the first trail is. And this is not it. And you look, and it kind of winds down deep into the forest, kind of past your vision.
Well, I've walked this line of woods every night for the last couple months, and it just piques my curiosity. I don't know what this is, so I guess I'm going to take a step into it. See where this trail leads. It's new? Does it look like it's new?
It looks more cleared than most of the other trails. Like, there's not many leaves on it, aside from the few that the wind will blow onto it. But it looks like well trod.
Okay, we'll walk down it.
You begin to walk down, the leaves occasionally crunching under your feet, breaking a few sticks as you go. I need you to make another perception check for me.
I'm also barefoot. I'll add that. That'll be a 7. I am dropping in numbers, such as Kildak was.
Now, real quick, when you say you're barefoot, you mean like right now in person, or Wickepee's barefoot?
Both.
Okay, deal. Cool, a 7. So you begin to make your way down this path, and after 4 or 5 minutes, just enough to get deeper into the woods, you feel the air begin to cool, very similar as it does in the woods, being around the trees and out of the fields. But the air gets cool. You can't really smell the barbecues or the cooking foods anymore.
Thank God.
And you get that fresh, like, pine smell as you're going through the woods. And as you go, you realize the trail ahead of you ends and leads to a huge knotted tree. Its branches weave deep into the night sky, and its thick trunk has 3 dark holes, giving the impression of a twisted, gaping face. And deep within the mouth of this face, something glitters in the darkness, in the depth of this tree.
How close am I to the tree?
You can walk all the way up to
Walk closer? I'm going to walk closer to it and try and, like, trace my fingers along the knots of the tree and just kind of look for what's glistening.
Cool. And you rolled a 7 on that perception check, correct?
Yes.
So what Wikipede does not notice is at the base of the tree, there is just a ring of twisted mushrooms that sit just at the base of the tree where she's standing.
Then, yeah, I'll just fully step into that ring to just touch the tree.
Cool. You touch the tree. It feels like a cold, knotted tree, but it has smooth wood, a smooth bark. And again, there's just that little bit of moonlight that's snaking its way through the branches. You see something glitter inside the mouth of this tree.
It's inside the tree?
It's inside, like the twisted knots of the tree make it look like the 2 like long stretched eyes and like a gaping mouth. And in what would be the mouth is something glittering.
Gonna reach my hand in there and...
Okay. You reach your hand in, and it's not quite far enough to get what's in there.
Are you telling me I'm too short?
No, you put your hand in. And
You call me short?
I'll mess with Wikipedia in different ways, don't you worry. But no, you put your hand goes in, and whatever it is deeper than just your hand. Do you go elbow deep?
Yeah.
Okay. You put your elbow in.
I'll put my foot on like the trunk of the tree to kind of like hoist myself up a little farther.
Your hand, your elbow, your whole arm. You are shoulder deep in this tree.
I have nothing to live for right now. I will put my whole body in this tree if you need me to reach whatever is glimmering.
You grasp the object, and as you pull it out, something almost feels like it lets go and releases as you pull this out. As you take a step away from the tree, what is in your hand has the texture and the weight of glass. It's smooth, it has about that same weight as a solid glass object, but it looks like a knife. Not necessarily like a weapon per se, but a knife for sure. But it's not made of glass. It looks like it's almost made of wisps of smoke or fog. Suddenly, a whoosh of wind blows past you, swirling hundreds of those recently fallen leaves all around you. Through the leaves, although the feeling of the object never changes, you can swear that you catch glimpses of a longsword, an axe, a cutlass, and then the leaves leave, and it's just a knife in your hand. Make a perception check for me.
Oh, it's beautiful. Okay. 16.
Okay. You, this time, Wikipedia feels eyes watching her. And you look around, and then you look deep into the forest, farther than you've ever ventured before. And you see a tall woman step out to the moonlight, about 100 feet away. A silver cape of stars seems to weave behind her, while a tall, pointed crown adorn atop her long rivers of black hair. You can't make out any other features from this distance, but she looks towards you, makes eye contact, and curtsies.
She's beautiful. I move towards her. How far is she?
About 100, 150 feet.
I'm going to start running towards her.
You run towards her, and as you begin to move, she turns and allows her long black hair and silver dress to flow behind her, her hair dancing in the wind, and walks deeper into the forest. You get to the spot, that moonlit patch that she was at. Make a perception check for me.
14.
Okay. You get to the spot, and she is gone. You look in every direction, and there is nothing. You can't find her at all. You look down, and the only thing in your hand is this smoky, foggy dagger. What does Wikipedia do?
I guess I grasp it a little tighter, and I guess I just feel lost now. I guess now I'm kind of sad. I don't know, just looking at her just kind of gave me some sort of hope. I just wanted something exciting, I guess. Now I'm just kind of sad.
As Wikipedia's looking at this dagger, you feel behind you there's like a flutter of what sounds like large dragonflies. And it kind of catches your attention. Make another perception check for me.
It's a 4.
Okay, that's okay. You look, you don't see anything, but you see almost like a faint trail of, looks like moonlight, almost floating in the air, like visible smoke that trails off to your left and goes down a hill. You make your way to where this kind of smoke went, and you notice down this steep hill is this large moonlit clearing. This little grove is full of ferns and wildflowers, and standing in the center is a woman facing away from you, her hands just outstretched to the sky. And you recognize her black hair as the woman you saw before.
It is the same woman.
Looks like
now
it.
I feel excited again. There's a little glimmer of hope that kind of sparks inside me, and I'm going to hop over that ledge and go down the hill.
Cool. You hop over the ledge and you begin to run down the hill. As you begin to move, this hill is very steep. Like, if anyone's on hikes on mountains, it's very steep hills, and you get to one of those sheer cliffs, and you're a halfling, you're pretty dexterous, and you begin to run down this hill. I need you to make an acrobatics check for me.
I'm good at them. Okay, that'll be a 21.
You needed a 20 on that to pass, so that is a good roll. You begin to pick up speed on the way down the hill, and as you are making your way, you think that you missed a step at one point. You could have swore out of the corner of your eye that your foot missed a rock, but instead, your foot seemed to plant on a group of leaves that had been caught by the wind, and it almost looked like your foot had landed on the leaves and kept going. But even barefoot, it's so hard to tell at this speed that you're practically falling forward the whole time. As you slow yourself as you get to the bottom of this hill, you look up and realize that the woman in the center of this clearing is not a woman at all. Is just a tree with one branch sticking up in the air with spines that almost look like fingers. The bark swirls in the same way the hair did, and it was just kind of a desperate reach of the imagination.
That's
and just as Wikipedia is about to give up,
I am about to give up.
and kind of accept the fact that this woman got away, you hear a voice from behind you, calm, gentle, but definitely loud enough for you to hear. It says, "I would put that down if I were you." And out of the woods steps a new figure, a tall, incredibly beautiful woman with black hair that turns shades of red in the light. She reaches towards you with a hand hosting 8 slender fingers, and you notice patches of bark and wood that weave and swirl along her exposed skin. As she stands at the edge of the clearing, it's impossible to tell if she's wearing an elegant black dress or if the shadows of the trees are just perfectly laid on her body. She looks at you again and goes, "What you have in your hand is a gift from a most powerful benefactor. Tell me, adventurer, have you heard tales of the fairies of the Fae?"
Not very good ones, but yes. I've heard small, childish fairy tales, bedtime stories. But nothing real.
Well, what you have is a gift from the Archfey, the ruler of the Unseelie Court, the Queen of Air and Darkness. And as I have said, I recommend that you put that gift back. Acceptance of this offering is an acceptance of an invitation to her court, a place at her table, and all the benefits of her association. And she moves her hands, and you see faint, almost like firefly, magical sparks come out of her hands. And as she moves her hands, all the flowers seem to bloom around her. The ferns all shake, and from behind her, these 2 beautiful elk step out of the woods. Their antlers sparkling with the same glittery magic that she's brought out of her hands. And you see these 2 most pristine magical elks, and they walk over. One of them nudges up against you, lets you pet its face, and the both of them sit down in the grass next to you.
This is probably the happiest that Wikipedia has felt in months, maybe even a year or 2. And am I still holding that glass dagger? Mm-hmm. She's going to make sure that she grips it a little bit tighter, because this is the most beautiful gift that she was given, and I do not want to let it go. And I'm going to hold on to this moment for as long as I can.
The woman extends her hand out to you one more time and says, I will warn you thrice and no more. Receiving this gift will not allow you to return to your regular life. To be a servant of the Unseelie Court will require you to travel to far-off lands, meet wonderful and dangerous people, and do acts that others would only dream of. You would no longer be able to enjoy the comforts of run-of-the-mill work every day.
That sounds like the best gift that anyone could ever give me. I could want nothing more. That is the only hope that I have left, is that I could never return back to the life that I once had. Please give me all this and more.
You see a smile creeps onto this woman's face, and she extends her hand out to you and says, so, it has become time to decide your hand or your gift. And so she's asking for either your hand and Saurus or for you to return the gift to her.
I don't want to return the gift. I want to hold on to the gift.
So she asks for your hand?
I don't want to give her my... I don't want to let go of the knife. I don't want her to take it from me.
So taking her hand will be accepting the gift.
I know, but I'm holding it. Shielding it within myself in my chest.
Wikipedia shields the knife.
I'm hugging it, but I will give her my hand, but I'm keeping the knife close.
You lay your hand in her soft palm, and she closes her hand on yours and says, welcome to the House of the Night Willow, Wikipedia Weatherby, Squire of the Black Bee, and leans down, kisses the back of your hand. And as you look down, you see the knife has changed. It is no longer glass, but a true knife. Still with that glassy texture and that glassy feel, but now a real material knife. And you turn your hand in the opposite place in the palm from where she kissed. A small, dark spot of wood has appeared on your palm instead of skin. And as you look up, the woman is gone. And as this happens, you come out of your memory, the noise of Captain Wildwig going, I share everything. We share a boat.
I forgot where we were.
Comes back to you. And you're on the deck of the ship. You have your full action and bonus action, whatever you want to do.
Can I slide right into where Kildak and Wallywig are? Kind of get in that little trio that's happening now?
Absolutely.
What is going on? Can someone please just tell me what a mutiny is? What is a mutiny? Why are we fighting each other?
We take the ship from him.
But he's our captain.
Not
Yes,
anymore.
that's an excellent point, Wikipedia. I am your captain.
Not anymore.
So who's our captain?
Not anymore. I'm your captain.
I'm not sure yet. We'll figure it out.
Are we killing him?
Were you happy, Wikipedia?
No, you're not killing me.
I mean, I'm happy on this boat.
But were you happy with him leading us? Did it not feel like we were doing the same thing
She's
every day?
always happy.
I am always pretty happy. I kind of like this boat. I've never been on a boat before.
We keep the boat. We keep the boat.
We keep the boat?
We keep the boat.
We keep the boat?
I promise we keep the boat.
Yes, we all keep the boat. That is exactly the point.
We keep the boat.
We all keep the boat. That
To be determined.
Precisely.
We keep the boat.
Okay, I guess just kind of following, almost mimicking Kildak. I'll have, almost with magic, my cutlass will appear in my hand, and I'll just kind of point it near Wallywig in a mirror image to Kildak, and just kind of follow what he's doing. A little uncomfortably, but willing to help.
So as Wikipedia matches her sword to Captain Wallywig. Wallywig, his hands up, looks between the two of you, looks over his shoulder to first mate Eugene, who is this small, like, hairless dwarf. He doesn't have any hair on his head. He doesn't have a beard. He's a completely hairless dwarf. Looks to first mate Eugene and goes, to the cabin. And then he's going to disengage and then run. He's going to use his action to disengage, get to here, and then he's going to attempt to vault over the banister. He's not very athletic. He rolled a nat 1. He goes to leap over the banister. Foot catches the banister. Full body whoop, goes right over it. Feet are the last thing to go over, and full lands on his back on the lower deck. And he's gonna take 2 points of damage for that. As he lands on the deck. First mate Eugene is gonna go, come in, boss, and then shuffles his way across the deck. And then he's also gonna try to vault over. He does not do a very good job. He tumbles over as well, almost on purpose to make Eugene feel better. He tumbles over the side and lands also on his back, but not taking damage. As both their bodies thump hit the ground, the hatch to the lower quarters raises, and out steps our final swashbuckler, if you can even call her that. Aubrey, can you describe Tawny for us?
So Tawny is what looks like a human, and she has long brown hair with purple streaks in it. You will see purple is a very prominent color that she wears and has. She is wearing a pretty plain black dress, but it has large slits up her the sides of her body to her thighs, and on both of her thighs she has daggers strapped, her twin daggers. The most unique feature about Tawny is that right dead center in her forehead is a little purple gemstone.
Wonderful. So Tawny opens the hatch, steps out, stretches out, takes a big yawn, and Tawny, you have your turn. You are, as you come up, the first thing that you see is Eugene, terrified, leaps over the banister, hits the side, foot catches the banister, flips head over heels, lands right at your feet, and then Eugene tumbles over as well, poof, landing right next to him. What's Tawny doing as she's coming out of the quarters?
She just heard all of this commotion. She was just sleeping below deck. She's not a helper. She would not have been on deck prior to this moment. And she's just stretching, looking around, gets to the top, and just looks around and is finally sinking in. Hey, there's a battle going on. We are fighting. And she just
you hear a second cannon just goes boom and just fires another cannon shot.
She's a very deep sleeper. And she's gonna look around to try to see where Bug-Eyed Bill is, because she just is very protective over him. It's
Sure.
He looks safe enough at the moment.
You see Bug-Eyed Bill still wide-eyed doing battle with Patchy Polly. Currently has one of his arms holding her head, and she is making swings at him with his daggers, and he's just stiff arming her away from his body, as he is fumbling with just a plank of wood that he's trying to poke at her with, as she's swatting away with her swords. It looks like a pair of siblings battling each other.
Yeah, Tawny's not too worried about Patchy Polly. She knows she can take her if she needs to. And so she just is gonna kind of look around and be like, shit, we doing this? We fighting?
As you think that, as Tawny looks around, kind of surveys the scene, sees crewmates' swords clashing, pistols cracking into the air. First mate Eugene pops up from the ground. He stands only about 3.5 feet tall, just a little bit taller than Wikipedia, and pulls out a horn and goes, "I'll call for help, boss." And goes, "Woo," and blows this horn which echoes across the water and to the island that you're currently sitting next to. And as he blows this horn, it just hits this certain pitch that Tawny immediately remembers. As the horn makes its notes and hits its tune, it rolls Tawny back, and she begins to think, where did I hear this last? She closes her eyes, and the notes ring in your ears, especially being so close. And as you close your eyes, you hear not just one trumpet, but the hundreds of Druk trumpets calling the ceremony to begin. The air changes in your mind from the sea breeze to the gusts of wind that surround your kingdom, floating above the clouds. And right beside you, although you know it's not real, you hear the voice of Elder Morrison. Welcome all to this most sacred ceremony. The passing of the Dame is a tradition that we Druk can trace back to the beginning of our species. When the gods made the material plane, they called upon the powers of creation to summon mighty protectors, creatures with perseverance and determination like no other, and with a mighty and ferocious will for survival. And then there was the Great Schism, where the Druks decided to abandon their duties and forfeit their ability to metamorphosize. Now, humans and dragons have forgotten, through war and through time, that they were once one and the same. But we have not forgotten. And you open your eyes as what seems to be the whole city chants, Jus Ur Andam, and it echoes throughout the clouds. To your left is Elder Morrison, dressed in his traditional robes of the learned. Behind you are the great walls, the outer walls of Drukul, and to your front, is a stone path that leads to the edge of this floating city. Between the path and the gardens that surround the kingdom stands the royal guard, wearing their traditional ceremonial armor. Closest to you are two massive red and blue dragons, who you recognize as Ruckus and Gorm, the commanders of the guard, and also the ones who are personally responsible for training you in the art of battle. Standing at the edge of the path, facing you, are your parents. And you turn and you hear Elder Morrison begin again. But alas, we did not gather here today to hear one of my history lessons. And you hear a slight echo amongst the crowd, although the commanders of the guard stay perfectly stoic. We are here to celebrate the accomplishments of Tana, emotions to you, our next warrior Druk. And you hear cheers echo throughout the city behind you. Since being chosen for this sacred duty, Tana has trained her body, sharpened her martial skills, and hardened her constitution. She has committed to herself to her studies, forged an iron will, and he kind of looks down and gives you a playful but dirty glance, has mastered the etiquette and social prowess of a royal. He looks back to his script. She will bring us pride and honor while on the surface. Congregation, at attention. And he bangs his staff on the ground. And you hear shuffle of hundreds of onlookers from the city walls as the royal guard shift to move to attention. Tana the Fierce, I hereby pronounce you Warrior Druk. You are charged with upholding our oath to protect the material plane from the dangers of the Dark Realms, no matter the cost. Go now to the surface. Take up the scepter of Dame from your elder. Allow them to return home as you take up your birthright. And in 30 years' time, we will send a new warrior group to take up the mantle. But now, the time is yours. And he motions with a smile on his face for you to walk down the ceremonial path of the warrior group. What does Tawny do?
So Tawny is just overwhelmed with emotion right now. She has been waiting for this moment her entire life. She's going to nod to her elder, then she's going to turn fully to the crowd, and she's just going to stick a fist up in the air, just like a moment of like power, a moment of like just feeling this moment and like gratitude to her people. She's just going to hold that. Yeah.
The crowd goes crazy. They start to cheer, and you hear chants of "Juice or Andam, Juice or Andam," which you know is Druk, your language for forever oathbound. And this chant is echoing throughout this kingdom in the sky, floating above the crowds. They are going ballistic. They absolutely love it.
Okay, and then after she just holds that moment for a little bit, she's going to put her arm down. She's going to turn around. She's wearing a very nice coronation ceremony dress.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a deep royal purple, which is her country's color and the color of her magic. It is very tight. It has like sheer bits in it that have like swirls and stuff that go all the way down. And then on her shoulders is like two like capes that just drape off the sides and then like drag behind her as she walks down the path towards her parents.
As you begin to walk down your path, both the dragons take deep bows, extend their wings all the way, lower their heads all the way to the ground. As you pass, each pair of guards on either side drop to their knees, and as you begin to move, trumpets across the entire walls ringing the kingdom begin to play in unison. And you hear celebrations begin throughout the city streets. As you get to the edge of this path, which is also the edge of the kingdom, where the rock that it floats on ends and the sky begins, you get to your parents. As you get there, your mother just breaks down. She just starts sobbing. And your father puts a hand on you and goes, "Tawny, we are so proud of you. Be careful down there. We love you so much." And goes in for a hug. What does Tawny do at the edge of this path?
Tawny is going to hug her dad, hug her mom, and then she's just gonna like have a moment with her mom where like their foreheads are just like pressed up against each other. She's not gonna say anything. She's not crying, but it's just like a very like regal, important moment to her. So she's like she gets to the edge of the platform and she's just gonna turn to her parents and she's just gonna say, "It is my duty, it is my honor." And then she's just gonna fall back off the cliff.
Falls back off the cliff. The wind rushes through your hair. The capes in your dress flow in the wind as you capitalize fully on the moment to just fall off this your city, your home, which you've been your whole life, but it's miles in the air, and you just begin to fall off Drukul. What does Tawny do as she plummets towards the earth?
As she is plummeting, she is going to close her eyes and turn into a dragon.
Tawny closes her eyes and in one swift motion morphs into the slender purple dragon that is Tana the Fierce. What gives Tawny that extra edge in combat and that makes her people so special. Do you have any description for your dragon?
Around her, you can just like constantly see like a little like crackle of purple lightning that it just like kind of like just flicks
Arts.
around her.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So as she comes down, little arcs of lightning crack all over her shoulders, over her wings, as she dives through the clouds, approaching a spot that you know both from your many long nights learning under Elder Morrison, but also just through natural instinct. This is what you were born for. This is what you were made for. You know exactly where to go. And the mist parts as you land on the cold stone plateau amidst the Gray Peak Mountains. This place is clearly ancient, with statues of ancient Drupa heroes defending the edges of this site. In the center, there are 6 granite pillars, each beautifully inscribed with the stories of heroes that encircle a central area where the passing of the scepter of Dame, where your power and where the ability to transform away from the city of Drupa stems from, and where that changeover occurs from the previous warrior group is in this sacred ancient site. And you see within the rings of this pillar, within the pillars, the central pillars, is Phelim, with Phelim the Clever, your elder warrior Druk, your aunt, and the one who is going to be handing off the scepter to you. And as you see her, your heart sinks, skips a beat. She is standing, terror in her face. One hand is clutching a wound on her chest, and the other is desperately reaching out towards you. What would you like to do? You're still a dragon at this point.
She sees this scene like as she's coming down as a dragon, as she's like soaring down, and so she like basically tumbles into her human form really quickly.
Awesome. As you move towards her, as you get to the edge, to the opening between the closest 2 pillars to get to the central site, you notice that it's not a wound in her chest, but a hole, a full hole in the center of her body. And as if frozen in time, the blood that would have been expelled from all the stuff that's in this part of your body is hanging suspended in the air in front of her arm as she reaches out, moving at a snail's pace, barely visible, just slowly moving out towards you. As you get to these pillars and you get to this entrance, the blood that is suspended in the air swirls around the inside of the pillars and then begin to almost spell words suspended in the air. And in horror, you read this message hanging in the air. The scepter of Dame is mine. The blood moves and reforms. Journey to Tamo Core and serve your master. The blood splatters to the ground in a perfect symbol of a spiral passing through 8 orbs, the crest of the Red Wizards of Thay. And as you break the plane that is the 6 pillars, you see your aunt suspended here for how knows long, collapses to the ground as if whatever was holding her in time has finally dissipated. And as she collapses, what does Tawny do?
Tawny is going to like run to her. Like, she can't believe what's happening. As she's running, she's like getting like the blood and the mud like all over her pretty gown, and she's just going to like kneel down on the ground, cup her aunt's like head, and just like roar up at the sky.
You roar a roar that echoes across the mountain peaks. This roar is heard for miles around, and as this roar echoes through the mountaintops and through the Gray Peak mountain range, you find yourself back on the boat, tears coming from your eyes, just being brought back to this memory. And you see Captain Wallywig is on the ground in front of you. The wind knocked out of him. And Eugene is still just blowing this trumpet as hard as he can.
She is going to turn into a dragon right there, and like as it forms, because she's so large, she doesn't care if she hits other people. Like, she saw that this is combat, she saw that this is game time, and she's gonna try to like as she comes out of it, like one of her claws, talons are just like V'd right over his neck. So she's not like cutting his neck, but like she has him pinned.
You have him pinned down. Cool. Can you make a strength check for me with your dragon strength?
Yes.
Okay. As you turn to a dragon, you push two of the pirates. Woof, it just shoves. So that is an 18.
I got an 18.
Yes. So, I mean, yeah, easily. Tana the Fierce puts a big talon on Captain Wallywig's chest, and Eugene drops the horn that he was blowing, and you have him completely pinned down. He begins just to try to struggle to get away from you, and he's not going anywhere. Wonderful. Is there anything else Tawny wants to do on her turn?
Can she tell me if she can do this still in her turn, and if not, then I won't have her do it. I want her to like pick him up and then just fly over to where Kodak and Wikipedia are, and then just like go back down there, but still have him pinned. So I just want her to move them.
To move with him? Oh, yeah, absolutely. You have him grappled with a strength of 18, and with him being grappled, and the fact that you can fly, and you definitely have the strength to carry him, you easily get him in one claw, swoop up, and you land on this deck. With Wallywig right at your feet. Kildeck, it is your turn. However, before we get back to the top of the order, I will say between the three of you being surrounding Captain Wallywig, if you all three unanimously decide to end combat, Wallywig is pinned and you are kind of all out of harm's way. If any of you want to take punches on him, you may, but if you guys all want to say, all right, we're going to end combat and kind of interrogate him, we can do that as well.
I think we should end combat. I wanna keep our fellow pirates from fighting each needlessly.
Can you make them stop fighting, Kildeck? Can you just make everyone stop?
Yeah, we'll make them stop fighting.
Okay.
As long as Tawny is okay with that, as I'm not really gonna fight with her. Okay.
She can't talk.
Oh, okay, got it.
She's a dragon.
I believe you can only speak Draconic.
Can she understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yep.
She
She can understand.
It's just like the tongue muscles can't replicate common. I got it. Okay.
If she trained really hard, she could. But she spent most of her time learning how to fight people instead of training how to talk a specific language as a dragon.
Makes sense. Yeah. So we'll end combat. I'll get up to the railing here, and I'll make a big announcement. Our squabbles are not with each other. They're with this man here, Captain Wallywig. No need to fight amongst ourselves. Let's save our energy. We did nothing wrong amongst ourselves. It was his doing. He's wronged us. He hasn't shared his information. He hasn't shared the money he's gotten. What money have we seen? Have you eaten breakfast? A real breakfast. When was the last time we had anything other but gray?
Make a persuasion check with advantage for me.
19.
Ooh. You shout this across the deck. Immediately, the fighting begins to stop. As the smoke clears off the deck, as the wind blows, the pirates begin to stop and kind of question why they're fighting each other, and then they begin to listen to your statement, like, "Oh yeah, we are kind of all pissed at Wildwig. That's right." And you see Bug-Eye Bill and Patchy Polly kind of stop fighting, and there's Patchy Polly looks confused. Bug-Eye Bill looks bewildered, and they look at each other, and you can see them. You can't hear them at this distance, but they kind of mouth each other. There was a mutiny. Did you realize there was a mutiny? I thought misunderstanding. You can kind of see Bug-Eye Bill start to apologize for just firing 2 cannons into the island. But you see with that roll, yeah, you absolutely rallied the crew. First mate Eugene darts into the Captain Wallywig's cabin and darts into the cabin door. But you see everybody else kind of starts to gather on the main deck, the lower portion with Bug-Eye Bill, and they all kind of gather there and kind of wait for something else to happen.
We should probably get him too, right? The first mate?
Probably.
Oh, can you let me? Can you get the dragon off me, please?
No. So yeah, I mean, when I was there all those years ago, when Captain Gorhan unfortunately died, our grave mistake was letting this fool stay first mate, and he became captain through the code. So yes, we should get the first mate as well. He would not make a good captain.
Eugene would make a great captain. If he was captain, he would let me be captain.
You're right. He would. That's the problem.
Please get off me. You're greasing my suit.
So what are we gonna do with them? Any ideas?
I was thinking Wallywig could go on that island. It's an island. There's trees. There's bound to be food.
Yeah.
Eugene
not so bad
has
over
a
there.
wife. You know, did you know that? Eugene has, like, a wife.
Yes, it's my sister.
So
Well,
he should
then
return to
maybe-
her.
Or maybe we can just leave him on the island, and then she'll come looking for him, and then they'll just have like this beautiful vacation on this beautiful private island with these beautiful white beaches, and it's like a perfect like second honeymoon for them.
Leave them both together, you're saying?
Yeah. And then eventually someone will come find them, and then they'll have a beautiful vacation together.
May I weigh in on this?
No.
Okay.
Tawny
I think the
presses
dragon
harder
is weight
into
enough
his
for
chest.
you. Okay.
I mean, honestly, if this boat wasn't so exciting, I would go stay on the beach as well. It's really nice over there.
Okay. Well, let's leave them on the island then. Do we
Yes.
have an extra boat we could take them over on?
No boat. Tawny will do it.
Oh, right. The giant dragon. Got it. We should get him out of the cabin.
Yeah.
Tawny, real quick, I need you to make a intelligence check for me.
Yeah.
And you need to beat a 5.
I beat it. I got a 19.
There you go.
A dragon.
Dragon is sitting pretty.
Okay, we'll go get Eugene. You can keep Wallywig here for now, if that's okay.
No, you could just leave me here. It's okay. You don't need to take me. You could just leave me here.
She just presses.
Did you hear
harder.
something?
Oh!
So Wikipeedia's gonna walk down to the quarters where he ran into and just kind of politely knock on the door.
I'll go with
You knock on the door. You hear the door lock.
Now that wasn't nice. I knocked so politely before entering.
You hear from the other side. Eugene goes, "Tell Wallywig to come in himself. He has the key."
Well, then I still have my cutlass out. I was just kind of like carrying it around, and I'm just kind of like swing it, and it's gonna turn into an axe, and I'm just gonna kind of bat it into the door.
Oh, no, the doors! They were so gorgeous.
This beautiful, like carved oak door. All right, here we go.
Here we go. I knocked nicely.
Cool. Yeah, make a. You automatically.
Hold on. I'll just go get the keys.
Wikipedia, you get how many attacks per turn?
2.
2. So you can roll damage twice for your axe. As you see her just start to whack into this door.
The doors.
I need you to make so Wikipedia roll damage for 2 attacks, and Kildak, I want you to roll an investigation check to find this key.
Okay, so for the record, she has 2 attacks, but the way it looks is when she swings her axe, the axe hits the door once, and then the shadow of the axe is kind of following behind the axe. It's not like perfectly lined up, and then the shadow is gonna hit the door after, and it's gonna do a total of 12 points of damage to the door.
Between both of them?
Yeah, a total of 12.
Cool, awesome. Thunk. Is there one noise? Does it make one noise or does it make 2 thunks?
She only swings once, but it goes dunk dunk.
Dunk dunk. Kildak, what did you roll?
A natural 20.
Ooh. You grab the key. You immediately know where to look. It's right on his belt. You snag that key, and then you get down to the door as she's winding up for a second hit. And she unfortunately does not get another swing on this beautiful door. So now it's this beautiful carved door with just a single axe chop into, not even near where the lock would be, just dead center of the door.
I fully imagine I just swung. There was no aiming.
There was no aim. Yeah, dead center of the door.
I was just gonna chop the whole door down and make a hole in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hole's only 3 foot up. It's not in the desert of the door. It's very low.
Kildak, you are able to click the door open and go inside. Wikipedia, do you follow them? Do you follow Kildak inside?
Yeah, as soon as Kildak comes right behind me, I'll step aside and let him just unlock the door, and then I will follow him behind.
Okay, cool. Tawny, I'm gonna go with you first because I'll get to them in a second. What are you doing with? So you were with Captain Wallywig on the deck of the ship. Make a investigation check for me.
Sorry.
Is that a guest star?
Yes.
Yes.
Our guest star is trying to break my chair by scratching it, and he won't stop.
Perfect.
Cheers. Who's our first guest star?
That's Apollo.
Apollo's our first guest star. Cheers to Apollo.
To Apollo.
What am I making?
Investigation check.
18.
18. So you notice with that investigation roll that Captain Wallywig has quite a few very nice things on his person. And because of your nat 20 on the last roll, roll kill that. I will say that if you want to grab any one of these things as you are grabbing the key, you can snag one of the things I'm about to name. So, on Captain Wallywig, you notice there is on his hip, a purse full of 30 pieces of platinum. There is his rapier, which he has dropped, is a magical rapier, the +1/+1 rapier called Fancy Footwork. You have his dashing hat, which he paid quite a bit of money for, which has some magical effects to it. It gives
That was just
+5.
gonna be pretty.
It is a dashing hat, and it has gives +5 to all charisma checks while on the boat. So when you're off the boat, not so much, but when you're on the boat, it gives that sway of captain. He has the long ass spyglass, which is exactly what it sounds like, and it will give you +5 to perception when looking at things that are far away. And he has a dapper vest, which is a +1 leather vest. And Kildeg, you get one of those things that I listed.
I think we all know what he's gonna take. Just take it.
I thought I knew what I was gonna take, and then there was a hat.
Don't take the hat.
These can be distributed out later as you want.
Oh yeah, we're stripping this guy naked before we leave him on this island.
Sure. I'm just saying, like, you get first dibs on one item that you do not have to like bargain for with the people. You get it before anyone else sees it.
Yeah, I'll take those platinum coins.
Yeah.
Platinum coins.
We all knew you
we
were
all knew
taking
it.
the
We all knew it.
coins.
What, 26 now, isn't it?
I believe it is 26.
It is 26 now. So you get 26 platinum pieces.
I'll add that
Which
to my
is-
4 from before.
There you go. So Tawny, you do not see those platinum pieces. But you see all the rest of those things. And because you're still with Captain Wallywig, if you want to push one of those aside and kind of reserve it for yourself, dragons love their treasure, and so you're certainly welcome to take one of those things without question for yourself.
Tawny is going to take the hat and the spyglass and put it on a pile, and she's going to save that for when the other two come back, and she's going to give the hat to Kildak, and she's going to give the spyglass to Wikipe.
Okay.
That's so sweet.
And then what else was there? There was the vest.
Yep, there's a +1 leather vest. So it's a magic vest that gives you a little bit extra armor. And there's Fancy Footwork, which is a rapier that gives you 1+ to your 2 hit roll and 1+ to your damage roll.
So she's going to take the rapier for herself, and then she's going to see the vest and just kind of toss it across the deck. She doesn't really care.
You just rip this vest off Wallywig and just toss it onto them. You were going through Wallywig's stuff while he's on the ground, and he is just like, "You're gonna leave me on the island? Who's gonna cook for me? Eugene can't cook. I've seen him cook, and he can't cook. We gonna starve? You gonna let us starve out there?" And it's just complaining about being on this island, or being stranded on this island. As you go through all this, you have some time. Is there anything else you want to do with Wallywig before I get to the other guys?
She's good.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Make an intelligence check for me again. One more time. You got to be the 6 this time.
21.
21.
Nice.
Well done.
Wow. These feel wasted.
Firmly believes that she should be in dragon mode right now. It's not a question.
It was meant to be.
That makes sense.
Lovely. So we pan around to the deck of the ship. As Kildeck runs down and you click the lock on the door, you realize that the key that you took it doesn't fit this lock, and not in a way that like it doesn't work, in a way that this key is magical. And I'll say for most magical objects going on later, you're not just going to know the properties of it, and you'll probably have to do either some spells or do some other stuff to learn about it. But for these magical items, they're pretty simple, and they've been on Wallywick for so long, I'm not worried about it. But you realize that this key can unlock one door per day. So it resets on sunrise, but you can unlock any door once with this key. As Kildek unlocks the door with this magical key, him and Wikipedia make their way into the captain's quarters. As you enter, Kildek, it's been a very long time since you've been in here, when it was under management of Captain Gorehand, and it has been completely redecorated. You see very expensive like sconce on the wall, lavish rugs on the ground, a new bedspread, a new pillow, some like interesting trinkets, like very expensive looking trinkets on shelves and such. I need both of you to make perception or investigation checks. Your choice.
I rolled a 19 for investigation.
Very good.
I only rolled a 6, but upon entering this room, Wikipedia's attention is drawn to the fluffy bedding and pillows and the rugs, and I kind of just want to take those.
You walk to the bed. You begin to pull the sheets off the bed. You take the pillow under your arm.
Yeah,
Super comfiest pillow you've ever had in your life.
Want the pillow. Now I want the sheets.
You begin to pull the sheets, and as you pull the sheets, you see a small, hairless arm stick its arm and starts to like pull one of the sheets back. You realize that Eugene is under the bed, and he's trying to like pull the sheets back from you.
Oh, I don't really want his sheets. I just kind of want the comforter.
Yeah, he's also grabbing that. He's like, his hands are like trying to fight you on it.
Can I just kind of take the rugs off the ground? Can I get one rug? Kind of roll it up.
To, like,
Any source of opposition, she just gives up.
You begin to roll this massive rug. You're like pulling it under the bed. As you're pulling it, Eugene is getting pulled out from under the bed, and he's like scrambling to get back under.
Well, then while he's pulling the rug, then I'm gonna grab the comforter.
Make a dexterity check. As the two of you go back and forth battling for the rug or the comforter.
11.
You get one or the other. Which one do you want?
I got the pillow. I want the rug.
Okay.
I want to make my room look nice.
You give a big tug on the rug, or sorry, on the comforter. So he dives. He's on the bed, grabs the comforter, and that gives you enough time to get the whole rug out.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wikipedia, you also notice that locked from this side, there is a hatch that leads directly from this like planning room into the quarters where everyone else lives. It actually goes like right above the kitchen.
It drops down into our living quarters?
Yeah. It's almost like the captain was meant to be able to easily access his crew, and his crew to easily be able to access him, and somebody has completely locked this room out from the rest of the crew.
Interesting.
Who could have done that?
Yeah, but you have this very comfy pillow, very comfy and like very lavish
rug.
Thank you. Kildek, what did you roll again? You rolled high.
You did roll
I rolled
high.
a 19.
A 19. So you notice a couple different things. You notice that there are a handful of treasure chests in these rooms. Also, by the way, you're noticing all this while Wikipedia is like...
Is fighting.
He's fighting, like, in the background. Like, there's a lot of noise. The bed is being, like, screeching on the wood as it's, like, moving back and forth. That you hear, like, someone, like, you know, the rapid, like, taps of Eugene's hands on the bed. Yeah, there's chaos in the other room. You see... there's a couple treasure chests in here. You crack them open. These chests you personally helped Captain Gorehand get. Captain Gorehand was very insistent on that he was getting older and he wanted to leave his legacy. And he wanted to bury a big treasure for other people to find, because what's going to leave a pirate's legacy more than a treasure hunt? So you crack these chests open, chests that probably would have, like, between all of them, again, you helped get some of these, over like 50,000 gold, probably between the lot of them. You crack them open, there is barely 2,000 gold left in these chests.
That's so disappointing.
What did he spend it on?
There's a handful of gold coins scattered on the bottom. You close them. You notice that there's a couple barrels of food that are in here. Nothing that's worth like to sustain a crew, but things that are like
Not
like
great.
not great, exactly. Fresh fruits, some meats that have been like cured, like jerkies that have been cured. Things that are meant to be tasty and also last for a long time are in some of the barrels up here. You make your way through the bedroom. They are still like, you're walking over the carpet as it is being rolled up and fought over. You get to Wallywig's like personal desk, and you see there is a note on the desk, a note that you recognize. You had Wikipedia had delivered this note to Wallywig, and when she did, it was blank. It could only be read by the intended recipient. However, since it has been read, the words are still on the page. So, Kildak, previously, this is what you were able to read on the note. To whom it may concern, a blank page, and then cordially, Vectum Pol, secretary and esteemed apprentice of Zulkur Tam, master of necromancy and science. Just the top and the bottom. Now that it has been read, the words have inscribed themselves in ink on the page, and you read in full, to whom it may concern. It has come to my attention that you, captain of the vessel, the Depressed Guppy, have been in correspondence with Zulkur Morzamek's cabinet. I regret to inform you that he has gone missing, and although efforts are being made to find him, the cabinet of Zulkur Tam would like to take up your services in his absence. Our sources have informed us that aboard your ship are a handful of criminals, in particular a dwarf with a sole arm and a woman with particularly draconic characteristics. Sail to the port of Vorpalgrad and request to speak with a member of the Arcanium of Necromancy and Science. Upon turning over your crew, you will receive 20,000 gold pieces for each prisoner of interest, as well as 500 pieces of gold for each pirate hung on the execution dock. We eagerly await your arrival, Captain Wallywig. Cordially, Vectum Pol, secretary and esteemed apprentice of Zulkur Tam, master of necromancy and science. So you are able to infer that this is why you have traveled across the trackless sea, making your way to the port of Vorpalgrad in order to exchange his crew for quite a pretty penny. Currently, you are the only one who has read this, aside from Wallywig and Eugene, and you may do with that as you wish. You are currently in possession of this letter. Do you want to inform Wikipedia of this letter?
Who has a pillow that is almost as tall as she is.
It's a body pillow for her, for sure.
Got my things.
Okay. I'm just gonna wrap this up and put it in my pocket for right now. Cause that's a lot. I mean, I spent how many years trying to just stay away from Zastam, and obviously he already knew where I was, so wasn't very worthwhile. But I will definitely be using this against Wallywig in the event someone tries to argue for him.
Cool. So you find that letter, and as you go to leave, is there anything you want to do with Eugene?
Yeah, he's only How much does he weigh? Can't be much.
Oh, nothing.
Yeah, we're just gonna pick him up. Basically, like how'd you pick up, like, I don't know, a stray cat or something? Like, just scruff of his neck, just gonna carry him. Just like drag him.
You begin to drag him out. And the last thing that you see as you leave this room, and Wikipedia, you notice this as well.
Over my big pillow?
Yeah, between your pillow and your rug. There is, laid out on the table in like the meeting room, is a map. And I will show you guys what this map looks like. So as you unroll this, as you look at this map that's been displayed, Wallywig and Eugene have approximated the boat, the Depressed Guppy, to be in the, bottom right-hand corner of this map. As you can see, there is the Thayan trade route, which runs pretty much from the center, with on the right, it says to Baldur's Gate, and on the left, it leads to Vorpalgrad, the city that, or the kingdom that Wallywig was instructed to travel to. Approximately north of you is a place called Hangman's Cove. Farther north is a place handwritten in what you can tell Kildak is Captain Gorhan's handwriting. There's a place called Naval Tavern. And even higher than that is another spot handwritten called Feller's Ring. So Feller's Ring, Naval Tavern, and Hangman's Cove are all handwritten by the late Captain Gorhan. Printed on the map is 3 spots in the center. There's an island to the north called White Sands Port. There's an island, a largest island in the center, with a settlement seemingly on the west side called Red Rat Bay. And between the island and the Snake Island on the bottom is a area marked off called Rainbow Pass. With all this,
That sounds fun.
what draws both of your attention is on the left side of the map, the west side, there is a spot marked with a pirate's X, and in Captain Gorhan's writing, it says gold with 3 exclamation marks, and then underlined 3 times is the words Te Mo Kor. And I need Hildak. Can you make a history check for me?
Glad it was Kildak because I don't know any history.
This is pirate history.
I come from Hicksville. I don't know anything.
We're so far away from where I'm most familiar. I'm not sure exactly what or who that is. With a 4 on my history check, I just don't quite remember.
You would know with a 4. Te Mo Kor. You don't know what it is. You know it's a place, and you know it's usually talked about in like pirate legends, pirate tales, in the same sense of like Treasure Island, where Treasure Island isn't a real place. I think the island of Treasure Island might actually be real, but like the fictional place of Treasure Island like doesn't necessarily exist. It's a fictional place. It's in a lot of different pirate tales. You don't know before anything about it. You just know in passing you have heard tall tales around, in taverns of people talking about, oh, I found Te Mo Kor. Oh, no, you didn't. No one found Te Mo Kor. It's not real. Things like that. That's about all you know about Te Mo Kor. If our dragon friend was here, Tana would know. Tani would recognize this as the place that she was summoned to serve her master and to receive the Scepter of Dame. Which is why you've joined up with a pirate crew in the first place. These words, gold and Te Mo Kor, have been crossed out, and in Captain Wallywig's handwriting, he has written cursed and stay away. As we travel different places, I have some fun random encounter tables. We're going to roll for weather, and we'll roll for encounters. The weather's going to affect either give you guys bonuses or disadvantages in certain combats, in certain instances. And then when we roll for a random encounter, I have a big list. Some of them are combat encounters, some of them are roleplay encounters, and then the weather is going to happen around you. So I'm very excited to see how that plays out. But you guys find this map, and you finally have an idea of what the Stonefall Scatter looks like in the area that you're in. You move past the map as much as you want to sit here and kind of get down to business. You have business to finish, and you drag first mate Eugene out to. Are you guys going back to the deck of the ship?
Yes.
Cool. You drag Eugene out to the deck of the ship, and Tana the Fierce, our mighty purple dragon, purple lightning still crackling off her wings and shoulders, still has Wallywig pinned, has completely stripped him of anything valuable. He's down to his red checkered underwear and his like sweat-stained undershirt.
I think I'd like to make sure that Eugene didn't grab anything of value while he was in that cabin alone.
Cool. Yeah, you strip Eugene down. He had the comforter wrapped up, and you just rip it out of his hand.
Okay. Cool.
And yeah, he has nothing else. He has.
He grabbed the comforter instead of handfuls of gold. Got it.
Wallywig, still pinned under the dragon, goes, "You're not seriously thinking of marooning us on this island, do you? Is that how you treat a friend,
yes,
Kildare?"
You do.
What
I'll
does
put
the
you right
color
on that
maroon have
island,
to
and
do
you're
with
gonna have a
anything?
beautiful vacation, whether you like it or not.
Tawny is going to, and like she's doing this like mostly with her mouth, just because she has another hand, but she's doing this with her mouth. She's gonna pick up the hat that she had and place it on Kildak's head, and then she's gonna pick up the spyglass and then just kind of like with her neck like stretched out offer it to Wikipedia.
I'll reach up really high and take it. Thank you.
Kildak, you now have the dapper hat, and Wikipedia, you have the long ass spyglass.
Long ass
Dude,
spyglass.
I love that name, by the way.
Thank you. I was so proud.
Do those need attuned or anything?
No, they do not.
I just have, what was it, +5 charisma as long as I'm on the ship?
That is correct.
Okay, I'd like to intimidate someone. Anyone. I really.
You slap this hat on. Cool. So you want to intimidate? Oh yeah, pick a person. Anyone you want.
We're gonna intimidate the shit out of Eugene.
Okay, cool. Roll an intimidation check, and then you can add 5 to your roll.
I rolled a natural 1.
Oh no! With the fact that you just ripped off, you dragged him out in this current situation, I will give you an advantage. I think that is a completely fair advantage. I don't feel like I'm
I have a
swinging it. I do like with that one,
+12. I have a +12, and I rolled a natural 1.
So here's what I said. You rolled a 13 with a nat 1.
I rolled a 13 with a natural 1.
You
and then-
begin to berate Eugene. Eugene starts to like sob, and the rest of the crew's like, "Holy shit! This captain they kind of went to Kildak's head." Like, what the fuck? And so with that one, you like obliterate Eugene for sure. But the rest of the crew's like, "Oh shit! Oh my god! Kildak's going off the edge. He's going off the rail."
Tawny considers at that moment to like take her other talons and just like snatch him, but then is like, he can take it.
We'll let it happen. We're gonna maroon him on an island for the rest of his life. The least I can do is let him get berated by this man in his last moments with the people. That seems nice. Yeah, is there anything you guys would like to do before letting Tawny send off our beloved captain, or former captain and former first mate?
Did you say beloved in there?
Oh yeah, beloved captain and
Okay.
former first mate.
The last thing I'd like to do is correct you on that one.
Okay, that's fair. Our much
Send off.
hated captain.
He was a pretty good first captain to me. He let me join the crew.
That's true. Probably because he could get money for you.
As Tawny picks up Tawny, you grab Eugene.
Yeah, so she has like
As you-
one in each hand.
Wallywig is going to look back to you, Kildak, and say, "Really? After all we've been through?"
Yeah.
And with that, Tony takes off, and you fly. It's a pretty short distance. It's like a couple 100 feet to the shore. Do you do anything before getting to the shore of the island? The only ones out here are you and the second vessel that you captured. The heavy load is sitting anchored off to your the nose of your ship.
So she's gonna fly over the island, dip a little bit low, and like drop Eugene.
Okay, cool.
Low enough that he like wouldn't like get too banged up from it. Like it could probably still hurt, but like this isn't like her trying to kill him. It's her trying to leave him at the island.
Got it. That's fair. Yeah. You swoop over. You fly over the ruins of Left Hand Island, and you see in the ruins there's now 2 cannonballs like embedded in the rock. You fly over. You swoop down, kind of like behind the tree line. Like you've broken line of sight with the boat at this point, right? I would imagine.
Yeah.
And so you kind of dip below the tree line. You let go of Eugene, who hits like the sand and kind of tumbles on the sand. And yeah, you're just flying with Wallywig.
So she's going to fly.
I now realize she can just kill this man.
She might.
I will say, character is how you act when no one is looking.
Well,
Here we go.
There you go.
He's human.
It's just you and Wallywig at this point. Wallywig's like, why'd you drop Eugene over there? There's clearly a more pristine beach up ahead. Can you drop me off at that one? I would wish you dropped us off together, but can you put us at that beach? That beach, please. That beach.
okay. She's gonna.
Just breathe.
This is true D&D. This is why we play D&D.
I've just been planning this since the very beginning.
I've been getting texts all session about this.
She's gonna.
Wait, what's the big plan here?
Tawny, that beach. No, you just passed it. The beach back there. Back turn around, Tawny.
She flies right back into view of the Depressed Guppy. Should I make my check?
Yeah, you can make an attack check with advantage.
Attack check?
Yeah, so it's going to be,
What's
I
an
believe
attack
you have a
check?
bite attack. Yeah, make a bite with advantage.
Can we see her from the deck?
Yes, you can see her as she comes back around.
Did we note that she does not have Eugene?
Yeah, I'd say so. With Wikipedia, make a perception check for me, and you can add. You can add 5 to this because you have your long ass spyglass.
So that is 10, total of 10.
Okay. Yeah, you can see that she only has Wallywig in her hand.
Kildak, what do you think she's doing? I thought she was gonna drop him back off on
Yeah,
the
I thought we had
island.
agreed that they were both just being marooned.
Cool. Yes, a 12 definitely hits.
Okay.
So you, and you do that does 7 points of damage. Wallywig has a whopping 4 hit points because he's just a commoner. He's not any big deal. Tawny, what happens to Captain Wallywig?
Tawny is going to toss Captain Wallywig up in the air a little bit and just chomp him. She's eating him.
A single snap. Captain Wallywig is gone. You make one burp, and his checkered underwear just kind of float out of your mouth. And Captain Wallywig is no more.
I didn't know we were gonna kill him.
She's gonna land back on the deck, turn into a human,
Okay,
and she's
cool.
just gonna say, I make some exceptions, and like walk below deck. Because she's not supposed to attack humans.
The crew is shell-shocked. Bug-Eye Bill is even more bug-eyed than normal. The crew is absolutely silent, and does Tawny go down below deck, or does she go right into the captain's quarters?
Right into the captain's quarters.
Right into the captain's quarters.
Picks up the comforter that Eugene dropped.
Yep. Picks up the comforter and makes her way right into the captain's quarters. Beautiful. And that is where we'll end tonight's session. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for our first session. This is the introduction to the Gilded Voyage. We're going to follow the adventure of our 3 wonderful swashbucklers as they travel through the Stonefall Scatter, avoid the problems that come with being hunted by the Red Wizards, and being overall outlaws to the places that they show up. So we'll see how they traverse the rough waters of the Thayan coast, how they interact with our settlements, and as they encounter other pirates, the Waterdeep Navy, and the Red Armada of the Thayan Empire. And once again, since this is our very first streaming session, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, and I look forward to seeing what the new management of the Depressed Guppy will do next. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time.